Well, it's no mow May, and you know what that means. Time to throw away those razors, ladies, and embrace the bush. Feel the lush breeze blowing through your leg hair. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I'm getting word that, this is not actually No Shave November for women. It's actually literally about not mowing your lawn. Oh, well. That's right. Today I'm going to be talking to you about plants. Oh, I'm sorry. Do you find plants boring? Does the YouTube algorithm think people don't want to hear about that? Well, I don't care because I got a plant in April of 2020 and it awoke something in me, and now I live in a jungle. And, I'm like growing plants from seed and giving them to my neighbors, whether they want them or not. And so, God damn it, I'm going to talk about no mow May, whether you want it or not. So no mow May, the idea of just putting away your lawnmower for the month of May. There are two distinct camps I've noticed on social media. On the one side are the proponents of no mow May, who say that not mowing your lawn will allow the grass to grow and attract native pollinators, increasing biodiversity, stopping climate change, and saving the world. And on the other side are the buzzkills, who say that not mowing your lawn for a month will actually increase invasive weeds, strangling out native wildlife, killing off our food supply, and, hastening our march to final human extinction. And in the middle of these two camps is me, the only reasonable person who has ever lived. It's a lot of responsibility, but I don't mind because I'm perfect. Okay, no, I'm kidding. Most people who care about no mow May are probably pretty reasonable. It's just that the loudest voices are the ones that get heard the most. And there are some extremists who come pretty close to my exaggerated description. Like when I first bought a house 4 years ago, I had no idea how heated people could get over their yards. There are homeowners associations demanding perfectly boring green lawns. There are nosy neighbors that get angry if anything in your yard dies. Fire departments will fine you for overgrown yards in places like the fire-prone Bay Area. And yeah, even some native plant enthusiasts complain about anything that hasn't been in the area for more than 100 years. And I'm glad I learned all that back when I bought my house, because it really did prepare me for the drama on TikTok and other social media about no mow May. The basic idea is, if we all stop mowing our yards for a month, it will allow the grass to grow, flowers to bloom, and beneficial insects to come and hang out. This was started in the UK in 2019 by the conservation group Plant Life, which oversees 4,500 acres of important plant habitat. Compared to the United States, the UK has much less of a problem with introduced invasive species. So when the average homeowner there stops mowing their lawn, the flowers that grow are likely to be ones that native pollinators really like, meaning that this is probably a good idea to improve local biodiversity. Here in the United States, though, things aren't quite that simple. We are a very colonized nation, not just by Europeans, but also by their goddamn plants. And also, the plants of Asia and even sometimes the plants of Africa and Australia show up. Just ask me about my local fire-prone park that is chock full of eucalyptus trees that will explode when they catch on fire. So, when we let our lawns go feral here in the United States, there's a good chance that those plants, which don't have the same natural predators that they do in their evolutionary homes, they are going to outcompete native plants that have spent many millennia evolving with our local wildlife. You already know all this, of course, because I talked about it a few years ago in this video about why you should care about pollinators like native bees. So I assume nobody is going to leave a comment saying something stupid like, weeds are just plants you don't like, don't be a bigot, or whatever. So yeah, as these entomologists wrote for The Conversation, you won't really be doing much for the environment if you have a lawn in the United States and you don't mow it for a month. And they make a case for why you might be making making the problem worse due to, in part, those invasive species that take off. But still, I can't quite get on the same anti-no-mow-may bandwagon as many of my fellow science communicators do, as they argue vociferously against this idea on social media. Why is that? Because I honestly think that no-mow-may is still a good thing, even here in the United States, as a gateway to someone actually doing something more positive for the environment. Here's the thing. 1 month of not mowing your lawn is not going to result in shoulder height meadow of weeds and flowers. The grass is just going to get a little longer. But during that month, you will not be using gasoline to run your lawnmower every Saturday, and that is good for both the environment and my sleep schedule. Fun fact, in addition to being annoying as hell, lawnmowers produce as much air pollution in an hour as driving a car for 100 miles. Unless you use one of those cute little old school push lawnmowers, and I got no qualms about that. But also, during that month of not mowing, you will also learn that not mowing your lawn does not cause the world to end. Sure, you might have very annoying neighbors or an HOA, but for the most part, nobody's going to give a shit and life is going to go on. That is also a good thing because we really need to do away with the idea that a well-manicured lawn is an essential piece of the all-American successful suburban homeowner puzzle. We inherited that idea from 19th century European aristocrats, and here in 2024, it's just an immensely silly standard. Yes, culture is overwhelming, so it can be hard to look at aesthetic choices we make from an objective viewpoint, but seriously, guys, single grass mowed lawns are boring. I mean, unless you're playing wiffle ball on it, I guess. Otherwise, personally, I would rather have pretty flowers and busy bees and a lower water bill and an extra hour of time to sleep in on Saturday. So, yeah, I think here in the United States, no-mow-may it's not just a cut and dry bad thing. I think the benefits may make up for the drawbacks, and they definitely overwhelm the drawbacks if it inspires homeowners to start thinking outside of the box when it comes to their lawns. No-mow-may might naturally lead to replace the lawn with native plants June, which, okay, not nearly as catchy, but maybe somebody can come up with something better. I don't know. Because that's the really cool thing you'll want to do to your lawn, is to kill it and then in its place plant a bunch of native stuff instead. That's what I did shortly after we moved in. We had a large green grass lawn with an entire sprinkler system to keep it alive, and we had to go out and buy an electric trimmer to whack it down, because if we didn't, it would become a fire hazard in late summer, and then we'd get fined by the fire department. Who needs all that? So I covered it up with cardboard to kill the grass and any weeds. I dumped a bunch of compost on top, and then I dumped a bunch more mulch over top of that. It's called sheet mulching, if you want to look up the details, but that's pretty much all there is to it. And then I went out, I got some seeds and some seedlings, and I started growing native plants. And let me tell you, it has not been easy, but it has been fun and rewarding. It's a learning process. Some stuff dies, some stuff takes off, some stuff is irresistible to our local bees and birds, some is unfortunately irresistible to our local herd of deer. Some stuff needs little cages around it to protect it when it's young from silly doggos who get the zoomies in the yard. And the trial and error to learn all that really has just been so rewarding. In my opinion, gardening is an S-tier hobby in pretty much every way. You can spend whatever amount of money you are comfortable spending. In my case, that was zero money. I got a big fat rebate check from my local water company. And that was in addition to bills that are now way lower because we don't use the sprinklers. I get seeds and seedlings from local native plant societies and aficionados. And now I actually collect my own seeds from the plants that I already have in the garden, and I germinate them, and then I give them away to other people. So it's cheap. It gets you outside looking at nature, which many studies show substantially helps mental health. And also it gets you moving around, pulling weeds and stuff, which also helps your mental health. And if you take it as far as I did, it can also have that social aspect of connecting with your neighbors in order to help improve your local ecosystem. Oh yeah, and it's got that too. The entire point of this video, it genuinely helps your local plant and animal diversity. As I mentioned in that previous bee video, you can make a difference whether you have a big yard like I do, or even if you only have a little window box or a patio or that strip of land between your house and the street. Every little bit helps, and when we all do it, it creates this broader landscape that allows native wildlife to flourish. I'll just end with a little tour of what's happening in my yard today. It's been about 3 years since I killed the grass. I just went out, I pulled a bunch of non-native geranium out of the yard and other weeds that were getting in the way of the natives. And I found there was this new weed that had taken over that I couldn't identify by eye or by using the very handy Seek app. So I pulled a bunch of them that were in unfortunate places, but I left more of them just to see what it would turn into. And I am astonished to report that this rampant weed in my garden is actually a native plant known as Colomia grandiflora that erupts into these like buttery peach colored flowers. They're beautiful. The bee plant that I thought died last summer actually put out tons of new plants that have taken over one chunk of our yard. This little seaside daisy also came back from the dead after the winter rains. And I was honestly shocked to discover I was able to grow a bunch of things from seed that I collected myself. And they're now happily blooming like yarrow and chick lupine and my favorite foothill penstemon. So I'm sure even after hearing all this, many of you would prefer a grass lawn. I get it. I grew up playing badminton and croquet on a grass lawn myself. That makes my childhood sound really fancy, but well, yeah, let's just go with that. I was a fancy girl. But personally, I will never go back to a lawn. If this video makes you reconsider even adding a small strip of native plants to your landscaping to include alongside your lawn, I'll feel really happy about that. So think it over, search online for native plants and the name of your city or county in order to get started, and please let me know how it goes. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. If you loved the video, please subscribe. And if you think the world could use more videos like this and you happen to have a few bucks laying around, head to patreon.com/Rebecca and join an awesome community of nerds like the people whose names you see on the screen right now. Thanks.